Spotlight podcast with our host, Scott Smith. Scott, how are you? And I know you're excited about our guest today.
Neil, I am spectacular. I am so excited. We have Corey Bain with us today, and I just can't wait to talk to her about her and her law firm.
Uh, you know, I listened to her passion in the green room a couple weeks ago. And what I learned specifically is that she truly, truly cares about businesses and helping them through navigating that. So go ahead, Scott, with your first question. But I was blown away, Corey, just to kind of tell you, just learning about your passion as an attorney in your firm compared to lots of other firms that are just looking at it as a number. And so I just wanted to kind of give that feedback even before we started.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
awesome. Thanks, Neil. That's a great lead in. So, Corey, I've got several questions I want to try to get through. There's no way we're going to get through all of them, but we'll do the best we can. So, talk to us about your unique educational background. You have two bachelor's degrees and a law degree from Arizona State University. What led you down that path?
It's funny that you say that. Yeah, the two bachelor degrees, one is in sociology and one is criminology and criminal justice. And to make my background even more unique, I actually graduated in 3 years instead of 4 years with those two degrees. I worked throughout the entire time I was in undergrad. And then in law school, I also worked throughout law school, and I actually took the bar exam before I graduated. ASU has a program for certain students. I think there was 11 of us. So we actually took the bar exam. And then when we graduated 3 days later, we all passed, every single one of us. There wasn't one person that did not pass it. So I was immediately able to start my career and everything. I think it's just my drive to, I grew up poor. I didn't really have the money. I didn't have the resources. And so for me, it was, I need to get through all this schooling so I can do what I want to do with my life.
All right. And that's the thing. You look at life is a journey, especially I was a former teacher. So I've gone and a former professional wrestler. So I've gone through a lot of different phases in my life to now being an entrepreneur and then really tweaking and changing and looking at the times and looking at what's really a customer needs. So reminding myself of what you talked about, that's pretty much what you do with your law firm is you want to serve the customer. And did you learn that from some of your background before and some of your other degrees, would you say, and experiences?
Absolutely. Definitely the sociology degree. I mean, you learn about all these other aspects in society that have an implication on businesses and the economy and everything. And something that I've noticed that was severely lacking is just humanity. A lot of people allow their personal life to impact how they respond to everyone else in society. And so for me, it's just, I don't like that. I'd rather us all collaborate and work together. There's enough business out there in the world. There's enough life out there to be lived that we don't have to fight and argue and kind of think that someone's trying to take advantage of us.
Yeah, that's really important. Because we nobody likes to be taken advantage of, right? Everybody wants to have a fair level playing field.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so that kind of is a good segue for me. So I'm going to combine these two. What motivated you to start your own firm? You started Bain Law within the last few months, right? And then talk about some of the initial challenges you have faced as an entrepreneur in the legal field.
Yeah, so I started my firm in February of this year. Last year, I was laid off from a public company. For 2 months, was wondering if I wanted to go back to a public company, go to a firm setting. The thing I didn't like about the law firm setting is the greed in it. I don't like the taking money just because we have a law degree and you spent hours learning this knowledge. You shouldn't give it away for free. That's what we're always told. And so I went back to the law firm setting and realized I want to do things differently. I want to do it my way. And I sort of had that thought after I joined a networking group. Immediately, I had that thought. That day, I put in my notice. That same day, I was let go. And by that Monday, I was up and running my firm, and I had businesses come over with me. Regarding the challenges, it's I think whenever your business aligns with who you are, there's not really any challenges to be had. I immediately had clients that came over, so I had money coming in. I had my networking, I had my strategic partners. Everything for me has been word of mouth. There's not a day that goes by that someone tells me in a room full of people they heard my name at least twice being spoken. And so for me, I haven't really had challenges because I've partnered with people that align with who I want. And so I'm bringing in the clients that I want and the businesses that I want to help support.
So you listen, and it's a learning experience because right, we could just take on any client, and in my agency, the same thing. And when we take on a client that really doesn't meet our values, it really makes it difficult. It's a stressful thing. It makes it very, very stressful. And when you can pick and choose your clients, you're on the right path. Because not everyone has that opportunity. And I think that because of your value proposition, what makes you different serving businesses with your law firm is a differentiator. And that I think that you started thinking about that once you left the corporate world to start your own, to say, oh my goodness, I need to do X, Y, and Z to differentiate myself from my competition to make sure that they're getting the best service possible. But I'm also not taking on business clients that truly don't have the ethical background that I want to work with.
You're absolutely correct. And they do have conversations often. I offer free consultations. And the reason for that is, like you said, I want someone that matches my values and the firm's, because if you don't, you're not going to feel that you've received value from me and from my services. I don't like the people that are about greed or doing things out of principle. So oftentimes when I have those clients or potential clients, I usually tell them, you're going to find an attorney out there to help you. I'm just not it. And really that I think adds a service to them also because now they know exactly what they're sort of looking for, and they can kind of reflect on, again, what type of lawyer they want and need.
So you're focused on business, right? Business law?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So in other practices, though, you focused on other areas. So what drove you to focus specifically on business law and not maybe something like family or civil litigation or something like that?
It sort of goes back to the core value. I want to be of service. I want to provide value. I love helping businesses grow. When they come to me, a business owner, they have these ideas, they have these plans. I can help them to implement those plans. And in family law, civil law, probate, even, a lot of the times you're dealing with people that are reacting on heightened emotions. Oftentimes they're against another family member or a close friend or someone that did work for them. And so there's always that conflict, and no one's really showing up as their best self. Whereas in business law, if you have the right business owners, they're always showing up. Their business is their life. It's their drive, it's their goal, it's what they love to do. And so I love just helping them to develop it and reach next levels.
So what kind of businesses do you serve? What are you looking for as a client for businesses?
Yeah, so I'm not industry specific. Often people ask me why I'm not. I love the idea of helping all sectors. So I have a well company, restoration plumbing, hotel management, a franchise right now. I'm helping create a franchise. There's a med spa owner. So it's really all sorts of business owners. If you have a business and you need help and you want that value, then we're here to serve you.
Let's go.
So that's actually another great segue for me into the next question. Personalized service, right? That seems to be a cornerstone for your practice at BAM Law. Now, I love that because it's a cornerstone of my consulting firm, Akata Consulting. We tailor our services. It sounds like you tailor a legal approach. So how would you say that that has made a significant impact on your client's business? Well, and on yours.
Yeah, absolutely. On my business, it's helped because, again, it's a differentiator from my competitors. A lot of attorneys speak to a business owner and they say, oh, you need all these things. And it's always the same things. And when they draft contracts, they draft the contract for where the business is at that place, at that time, whenever they come to them. I am different. I, again, want to help businesses grow and thrive. So when I draft contracts, I ask, what are you doing right now? And what do you want to do 5 years from now? Often when I draft the contracts, I have the legal language and legal terms in the first part, and the exhibits are what we call commercial terms. So you can change those commercial terms without ever having come back to an attorney, and you can always modify your business because you always find something new and different that you want to change. And I think that's helped the business owners because, again, they're saving money. They don't have to come back to an attorney each time. If the very next day after I draft a contract, they change the pricing or the price structure or what they're offering, they can just make that change themselves. So it's provided value for them, and I think a comfort and peace of mind to know that they can make those modifications and not have to really worry about the legal part of it.
I see. So once it's drawn up, it can be changed in specific ways and not have to constantly go back to you. Yeah,
Correct.
because that can be a very expensive thing, and it can become a very time-consuming thing, especially if the contract is going to make or break their company 2 days later, right? You got one that's ready to pay the money, but yet you don't have a contract. That's important. But I think also you understand in the whole process of contracts is that ultimately contracts change. So sometimes people think I have a contract with them, but you've sent an email saying things are changing. The contract has changed. I think a lot of people don't understand that, right? They don't understand that how law works and how certain things that were contracts can be changed based on certain verbiage in an agreement on an email, a text message, even a phone call sometimes, right? And these things you have to educate people on.
Absolutely. And that's a good point as well. Oftentimes, when I develop these contracts, I work on a flat fee basis. So I'm not paying for every phone call, every email, every revision being made. And again, I'm trying to provide that service to the business owner. So after the contract has been drafted, we are on a phone call that can last anywhere between 1 to 2 hours. And I am going through item by item of the legal terms so they understand what it is, what it means, how it'll impact their business. And then, like I said, with the business or the commercial terms, I put that separate so they don't touch the law section. I usually tell them, do not touch this. The law doesn't really move fast. And so oftentimes you don't have to make those changes. The commercial terms do. But yeah, absolutely. It's highly important that they understand what is in their contract and what it means. So I definitely take the time to do that with them.
And to teach them that contracts can change off a dime with one conversation with a client. So you have to watch out for that. Okay, let's go ahead, Scott, with your next question.
All right, cool. So what advice do you have for new business owners who are maybe trying to navigate the complex legal landscape? Maybe they're feeling overwhelmed. They want to avoid legal pitfalls. So what advice would you give them, and how could you maybe talk about some common legal pitfalls that you see people fall into?
Absolutely. One is a lot of people go to Google, YouTube, TikTok for advice. That's fine. But I think the bigger portion that people should do is to call an attorney that offers free consultations. They're far and few between, but I promise you will find at least 2 to 3. And I recommend talking to more than one and asking them, hey, I'm starting a business. What should I be doing? What do you recommend? What is your pricing? Even if you don't hire them, getting that knowledge can make or break your business, especially if you don't set things up appropriately, or you don't know about the Corporate Transparency Act, or you're not aware of all of these things that have sort of been modified in the last year that can have an impact on the business and face severe consequences. Regarding legal pitfalls, I don't think that there is a common one that all business owners fall into. Every business owner is different. They've all been given different advice, they all work differently, and they all come from a different educational background. Some people don't have a high school degree, some have a high school degree, some have higher education. No matter what it is, everyone falls into one pitfall or another. It just sort of depends on sort of their confidence and how they move forward in their business.
So why should people contact you? And do you serve a local area, or is it, or what states do you serve and all that stuff for your services?
Yeah, absolutely. It's only in the state of Arizona. And I'm looking just for any business owner. If you have a question, a concern, I offer free consultations. Give us a call, set up a meeting. Even if you're not seeking to hire us, but you just want to know if you're doing things correctly, there's a lot of education that can be given for that. My firm also offers conferences and seminars throughout the years with strategic partners that I work with. And that is free advice for, or not really advice, but free information for business owners so that way they can avoid these legal pitfalls or become aware of them so that they can seek counsel if needed.
Okay. All right. Scott, any other questions?
So I was just going to ask if you could go back in time to when you first got started. What's one quick piece of advice you would give your younger self?
I think it would be have faith. I definitely am fearless. I jump into everything. However, there have been times where I've been stressed and wondering, is this what I want to do? I'm not positive. However, now today I can say I'm absolutely doing what I love to do, and I'm 100% happy.
All
You're
right.
awesome, Corey.
Well, excellent. Where's the best place people can find information on your law firm? Where can they go?
Yeah, they can Google BAHME Law, BAHME Law. They can find us on Facebook. They can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn. All of it's BAHME Law.
All right. Thank you again. Thanks, Scott. All right. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show in the Business